if you look back from the future and say, what's the fundamental good of Tesla, I would say it's probably should be assessed as by how many years did Tesla accelerate the advent of sustainable energy? I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year.
Where do you sleep tonight?
Tonight's in the factory.
In the factory, not in a hotel?
Well, technically in a conference room in the factory, but yeah.
You sleep in a conference room in the not finished factory tonight?
Yeah, it gives me a good feel for what's going on.
Alone or?
Yeah, I assume so. Is this an invitation? Yeah.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So yesterday, Elon Musk was in Germany accepting an award from Axel Springer for being awesome. Okay, maybe the award wasn't exactly for being awesome, but close enough. And in the interview, Elon Musk shared some really interesting updates and some bombshells, including an update on when Elon Musk believes Tesla will solve level 5 autonomy with full self-driving, his thoughts around the complacency of legacy automotive manufacturers, a bombshell that perhaps in the future Tesla may be open to acquiring or merging with other automakers, although I think that's a relatively low probability event. Maybe there's a few engineers Tesla would like. Outside of that, what have they got to offer Tesla? And plenty more. So let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you live in the US and you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 4 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 2 free stocks between $2.50 and $250 each just for opening an account. And if you deposit $100, you'll get a further 2 free stocks valued between $8 and $1,600 each. That is an obnoxiously good return on your investment. I mean, really, deposit $100 and you'll end up with, at minimum, $21 worth of stocks, a 21% ROI on your money. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, basically, Tesla is about trying to make sure things are good for the future on Earth. And then SpaceX is about good future beyond Earth, basically. And so obviously we have to have sustainable energy, both consumption and production of energy. So like Tesla does solar panels and batteries. I think that's one of the key ways to have sustainable energy generation. And also the batteries are useful for wind power. So, and then you need to consume it via, you consume the electricity, so electric vehicles. I think you look at these things like say, okay, if you look back from the future and say, what's the fundamental good of Tesla, I would say it's probably should be assessed as by how many years did Tesla accelerate the advent of sustainable energy? That's I would measure the goodness of Tesla in that way. And then for SpaceX, it's like, okay, to what degree did we improve the probability of humanity being a spacefaring civilization?
Oh, right. Just save the planet with Tesla and ensure the continuance of our species with SpaceX. Is that all you're aiming for, Elon? Is that it? Really? That's it? In all seriousness though, I'd love to know in the comments below just your estimate of how many years Tesla has brought forward the world's transition to sustainable energy. 10 years ago, everyone was laughing at the idea of Tesla, whatever, they're going to fail, what an idiot, electric cars, what a loser, what a nerd, he must be autistic, what a loser. We're now at a point where the entire automotive industry, who isn't planning on going bankrupt in the next 5 to 6 years, is all in on EVs, which sadly isn't everyone. So rip legacy automotive, hate to keep saying this, but I like being right, and I'm going to clip these in the future. Vast majority of legacy automakers are headed for bankruptcy. It's already too late, they were too slow off the blocks. So, let me know in the comments below, by how many years forward has Tesla pulled this transition? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Is it 20? Is it 30? Is it 50? See, Tesla made the world's best vehicle with the Model S, won so many awards ever, the performance was insane. That was the point where everyone went, oh shit, electric cars are viable. If that hadn't happened, if Tesla hadn't then released the Model 3 and ramped up to volume production of a more affordable EV, Tesla didn't have incredible engineers continuing to drive down their costs and improving their technology, who would have stepped in and done this? Given that legacy automakers have been so slow off the blocks to date, I really don't think we would have seen this innovation coming from with any of these companies. Seriously, who else would have had the balls, brain and brawn to actually pull this off?
I remember very well the year 2014 when we were hosting the Gold Steering Wheel here at Axel Springer, and you got the award for Lifetime Achievement. And I was sitting in the first row with the then very successful and famous CEO of a very big German car company, and I asked him while you were on stage, isn't this guy dangerous for you? I mean, this looks really serious. He said, oh no, don't worry. First of all, the whole idea of electric driving, it's never going to be a mass market.
Sure,
Second, these guys...
Heard that a lot.
And I can all but guarantee every single person saying that electric cars would never be a mass market vehicle had zero understanding of how the universe works from the atoms up. Unlike Elon Musk, who has a physics degree, who could understand where the numbers would lead, hence actually pursue this opportunity because, again, first principles thinking rather than top-down reasoning. Elon Musk saw that this technology would be viable in the future. Everybody else, too much hubris and arrogance. Never going to work. I don't know the physics, but obviously it's never going to work. I don't need to know the physics.
These guys in Silicon Valley, they have no clue about engineering, about building really beautiful and great cars, so we don't have to worry. By then, Tesla's market cap was 23 billion. Today it's 536 billion US dollars. The market cap of VW then was 86, and today it's 77. And you are with Tesla 2.5 times bigger than BMW, VW, and Daimler.
I even said the stock is too high. I mean, what am I supposed to do? You know, like,
have you ever considered to buy?
The stock is too high a long time. Like when it was like at $800 pre-split. And they don't listen to me, but you know, I tell you, and the SEC complained again. I mean, like, you know.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that the reason for Elon's incredible cackle there at the SEC is because of their absolute stupidity. Imagine this, the CEO of a company suggesting the stock price has gotten ahead of itself gets in trouble for saying that. This is like literally the polar opposite of the old Trevor Milton Nicholas strategy where you go out and actually manipulate the security price of your company in a positive direction by, I don't know, pulling a truck up a hill that can't propel itself, letting it roll down the hill under the power of gravity, filming that, releasing that video as the Nikola One in motion, and deceiving and misleading investors into thinking you have technology that you do not to get further financing and support. I mean, that's a problem. That's something that the SEC should be, and by the way is, shout out to Hindenburg Research for that report, investigating. Not the CEO of a company going, guys, stock price is kind of high. I mean, I think it's going to be worth more in a few years, but right now, I'm just saying, I think it's pretty high. By the way, just going to jump in here. I personally also agree with Elon Musk. Tesla stock price has got ahead of itself, but guess what? Still buying with every spare cent, because as I keep repeating on every freaking video that I can, I believe in a few years' time, and especially in a decade or more, Tesla stock is going to be worth far more than it is today. So I don't really care because I'm not planning on selling tomorrow because I'm not an idiot. I'm an investor. Major difference.
Is it a serious option to buy one of the incumbents, one of the big car companies for you?
Well, I think we're definitely not going to launch a hostile takeover. So I suppose if there was someone...
But a friendly one.
If somebody said, hey, we think it would be a good idea to merge with Tesla, we'd certainly have that conversation. But, you know, we don't want to be a hostile takeover sort of situation.
This is quite a bombshell here. Although I don't think Elon Musk has really given a whole lot of consideration to the idea of merging with other automakers in the past. In fact, let's be honest about it. What would they have to offer Tesla? Maybe the top 1% of their engineers and management might be worth bringing over. Maybe they hold some land, some assets, some physical sites and locations that might be partially useful to Tesla. But outside of that, I mean, I hate to say it, but the majority of people working at legacy automotive companies are practically useless in terms of making EVs. Just the facts. I'm not trying to be a douchebag here, but if you're an expert at making an internal combustion engine, you're not going to immediately be an expert in making batteries. I mean, that's kind of obvious, right?
Did you feel a lot of complacency these days that the incumbents then let you feel that you are, I mean, the kind of hopeless disruptor, but they know how to do it, or were they very polite and nice with you?
Do you mean back then or no?
Back then?
Oh, no.
Today, everybody's
super nice. I would not say they were super. No, yeah, we were difficult to characterize their response as super nice. They used a lot of adjectives. I don't think any of them were positive. So.
We
really tried hard to convince a lot of companies. Honestly, I was in so many panels, but they generally were, generally the sentiment that was expressed that you mentioned earlier, that was pretty much universal. Especially if, back in, say, 2008 or 2007, like when we first unveiled the Roadster in 2007, I mean, it was just basically, they just said, well, you're basically a bunch of fools. Well, I mean, generally they would say like, well, starting a car company is crazy. You're going to lose all your money. I was like, I think I probably will lose all my money. I agree. It wasn't like I thought it would be successful. I thought we had maybe a 10% chance of success. So then people would say, it's going to fail and you're going to lose everything. I was like, yeah, probably true. Yeah. What else is new?
Just got to give some credit here to Elon Musk for having the courage to actually pursue companies and ideas that he genuinely believed had very low probabilities of success, but thought were incredibly important and should be pursued regardless of the chance of failure. Few other people have this courage, let's be honest. Most people like to do what's safe and comfortable. They want certainty, they want security, they don't want failure, they're scared of the embarrassment. They'd much rather take no risk or very little risk and just stay nice and comfortable. Keep things the way they are. Don't rock the boat, don't try anything new, don't try and innovate or disrupt. Too scary.
A couple of years ago, we saw each other in America, and a guy asks you on a panel when autonomous driving will be approved, and you said, I do not care so much when it's going to be approved. I care more when human beings in cars will be forbidden. And then the guy said, well, that's really unrealistic. It's never going to happen in cars. People want to do something actively. And then you said, well, 100 years ago, nobody could imagine elevator without a lift boy. Today, nobody could imagine a lift with a lift boy.
Yeah.
So when is autonomous driving really going to happen, and when are you able to do it, and when is it going to be approved?
Okay, just between us.
Yeah, that's a very discreet circle here. Yeah.
So, well, first of all, I'm not against people driving, to be clear. So I think people will drive cars basically as far into the future as I can imagine. It's just that it's going to be increasingly unusual to drive your own car. And while it's fun to drive, a well-handling car on a winding road in beautiful terrain, of course that's fun. But it's not fun to drive a car in terrible gridlock traffic. Like, going through extreme traffic, that's no fun driving a car. So I think people are unlikely to, most of the time, want to commute or with their and drive themselves. People are typically spending hour and a half a day, maybe 2 hours on average driving, especially say like California or something like that. It's very common. And some people will actually commute like 3 hours a day sometimes. It's pretty crazy. So I think if you say fast forward to like 10 years from now, I think 10 years from now, almost all cars will have full autonomy capability. All new cars produced.
I think Elon's right on this, and I don't think most people fully grasp the implications of electric autonomous vehicles. The cost to use autonomous transport as a service rather than ownership of a vehicle for personal use, it's going to be 5 to 10 times cheaper to hail on demand, get an autonomous Robotaxi than it is to own your own vehicle when you factor in parking, maintenance, insurance, etc. I know not everyone's comfortable with the idea today, but a 10 times decline in the cost means that this is going to be an enormous disruption. In 10 years' time, there's going to be very few people, I think, personally, that want to own a car for personal use, when for a tenth of the cost or a fifth of the cost, they can just hail an Uber, a taxi, a Tesla Robotaxi, something on those lines, whenever they need it, not have to worry about parking, not have to worry about insurance, etc. And they can use that time, that travel time, for far more productive or entertaining activities. Instead of paying attention to the road and driving, you could be doing work, you could be having some form of entertainment, you could be sleeping. I don't know, you could even have a love hotel on wheels. I mean, that's a business opportunity. The point I'm making here is I don't think the world is ready for the disruption that's going to take place. There's going to be a seismic shift. I mean, when was the last time you bought a compact disc, a CD from your favorite band versus just streamed it on Spotify? Yeah, exactly. I don't think most people are ready for this. I don't think most people are expecting that in 10 years, they're probably not going to want to own a car. But this is my prediction. I think this is where things are headed.
So there's about 2 billion cars and trucks in the existing fleet. And the new vehicle production is about 5% of the fleet size, so about 100 million. So even to the point at which all cars are autonomous, it'll still take 20 years to replace all the cars, assuming that the number of cars and trucks in the fleet stays constant. But like say 10 years from now, I would say vast majority of cars electric, like maybe 70-80% or more, and almost all cars autonomous. Electric autonomy is absolutely the future, no question. It's just a question of when. But then, like I said, sometimes people think that means the global fleet gets replaced instantly. It's like, nope, you have to go 20 years beyond that point before, 20 years from the point at which all new cars are electric, then the fleet will be replaced. This is just an important, it's not like, sometimes people are used to like mobile phones and that kind of thing. It's like 2-year or 3-year replacement rate, but cars are a much more expensive asset, a longer life.
So about 10 years from now, the majority of new vehicles produced are electric. Another 20 years beyond that, the entire fleet's replaced. That puts us at around 2050 before the global fleet is fully electric, or pretty much fully electric. That's a long-ass time and a big-ass opportunity.
To actually answer your question, I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year.
Place your bets in the comments below. Do you think Tesla will release full autonomy, at least to some of its customers, by the end of next year, 2021?
Now, there's a uncertain period of time for when regulatory approval will take. How long will it take? But I think if you are able to accumulate billions of kilometers of autonomous driving, then it's difficult to argue and look at the accident rate when the car is autonomous versus non-autonomous. And in fact, our statistics already show a massive difference when the car is on autopilot or not on autopilot. The safety is much greater even with the current autopilot software.
And we are discussing level 5 autonomy, so really
Yes.
full autonomy. Will
Yes.
Europe lag behind, or will it be approved here at the same time like in America or China?
Given this event is taking place in Germany, in Europe, I think Elon Musk is going to err on the side of not standing on too many eggshells here. So allow me to say what he's probably thinking, in my opinion. Europe is an absolute fucking joke when it comes to innovation. There's far too much bureaucracy, far too much red tape, and far too many hurdles for anyone to get anything done. If you want a comprehensive lesson on how to stifle innovation, study Europe. Another way to approach this would be to ask the question, how many billion-dollar companies are founded per capita in, say, Europe versus the United States? I rest my case. By the way, I can say the same thing about my home country, Australia. It's embarrassing.
It's hard to say exactly when it will be approved. I mean, just and our customers already know this, but the EU regulators are the most conservative, and I don't know if people want that to be the case or not. Our customers are sort of unhappy about it, but yeah, they only meet every 6 months. It's
Well,
a bit of an arduous.
Yeah.
Maybe meet more often. I don't know. Yeah, but I think at least some jurisdictions will allow full self-driving next year.
Okay.
Very politically correct response from Elon. I'm going to make another prediction about the future. I love doing this. Please keep me accountable. Europe will not approve full self-driving for legal use on any roads in any countries in any part of Europe before it is legally operating in at least some parts of the United States and China.
Where do you sleep tonight?
Tonight's in the factory.
In the factory, not in a hotel.
Well, technically in a conference room in the factory, but yeah.
You sleep in a conference room in the not finished factory tonight.
Yeah, it gives me a good feel for what's going on.
Alone or?
Yeah, I assume so. Is this an invitation? Yeah.
This was a really funny interaction, but also very telling. Ask yourself the question, really. What other CEO would fly to Germany to accept an award and then decide voluntarily to effectively sleep in a fucking tent inside an unfinished factory just to keep an eye on what's going on, really get a feel for it. Honestly, I cannot think of a single other CEO. I mean, I'm sure there's some, but I can't think of any. This is the kind of leader Elon Musk is. He really cares to the point where he'll sleep in a cold freaking conference room in an unfinished factory just to have a real feel for what's happening. This is the kind of person you want steering the ship, in my opinion. One of the many reasons why I'm still putting every spare cent that I have into Tesla stock. Hope you guys have found this video insightful. There's a link in the description to the full interview. There'll also be a part 2 to this interview appearing in the next few days, so keep an eye out for that. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you live in the US and you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 4 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 2 free stocks between $2.50 and $250 each just for opening an account. And if you deposit $100, you'll get a further 2 free stocks valued between $8 and $1,600 each. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. PS, if you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.